Live from KHOU 11, your news starts now.
Right now at 6, a massive sulfuric acid leak in Channelview sent 2 people to the hospital and triggered a huge emergency response. We've got the latest from Houston officials. Plus, Harris County deputies make an arrest in the shocking case of a body found in a burning car on Christmas morning. The new information we're learning about the suspect.
It's a quiet and warm evening for us right now, but change is on the way. A powerful cold front bringing in some Arctic air for the start of the week. The details on how cold it gets coming up.
Thanks so much for being with us this evening. I'm Trayson Bragg. New details tonight after a sulfuric acid leak near the Houston Ship Channel sent 2 people to the hospital and triggered a very large emergency response. Officials say a tank failure at an industrial facility in Channelview released up to 1 million gallons of sulfuric acid. Michelle Choi has the very latest.
A major response developed overnight after a sulfuric acid leak at an industrial facility along Jacinto Port Boulevard in Channelview. Part of the road was shut down for hours as emergency crews worked the scene, impacting nearby workers, including Cesar Jimenez.
It was crazy. We never seen anything like this.
By late morning, county leaders, including Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, arrived to brief the public.
I want to make something clear. The incident is still ongoing, but it has been ameliorated significantly.
Officials say the incident happened around 1:40 a.m. when a catwalk collapsed at a BWC Terminals facility, damaging a tank containing sulfuric acid.
They have a tank farm, and one of the walkways collapsed, and it hit the pipeline, so then the sulfuric acid started leaking.
Officials estimate up to 1 million gallons were released. BWC Terminals says the leak was contained to its tank farm, though some of the material entered the Houston Ship Channel. It's still unclear how much. Officials say part of the sulfuric acid continues to evaporate.
Because this leak is going into the ship channel, that means that the sulfuric acid is diluting with the water.
Officials say 42 people were evaluated, including crews from 2 ships docked nearby. 2 others were taken to the hospital and later released. Air and water quality monitoring is ongoing, and officials say there is no current threat to the surrounding community or marine life.
I just want to assure folks in the community that we have measured and we will continue to measure the quality of the air.
In the meantime, the facility remains closed as the investigation continues. In Channelview, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
Michelle, thank you. Tonight, a man is in custody in connection with a body found inside a burning vehicle on Christmas morning. Harris County deputies say the victim is 25-year-old Juan Benitez. His body was found near a wooded area along Fellows Road, close to the Beltway and Highway 288. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says investigators believe 44-year-old Ernesto Bustamante was with Benitez at his home when the two got into an argument. Deputies say that argument turned deadly and Bustamante allegedly shot Benitez, adding that Bustamante then put Benitez's body into a truck, drove it to a wooded area, and set the truck on fire with Benitez still inside. Bustamante was arrested yesterday and is now in Harris County Jail. You see him there, charged with murder and tampering with evidence. He's due in court Monday. The investigation is still ongoing. In Houston's East End tonight, police are looking for a woman they say stabbed another woman to death after an argument. The deadly incident happened around 9 last night near Navigation Boulevard and North Sampson. Police believe the victim and a friend first got into some kind of confrontation with the suspect at a nearby gas station, but then walked away into an open field. A short time later, officers say they ran into the suspect again and another argument ensued. That's when police say that the suspect stabbed the victim in the chest and took off. The victim's friend tried to perform CPR until medics arrived. She was rushed to the hospital where she later died. Here's what police are saying so far about the suspect.
We don't have that information right now if the suspect and the victim are friends or they know each other or anything like that. We do know the suspect is known to be homeless around this area, and the victim was just hanging out with their friend.
Well, you heard that there. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers immediately. All right, it's now been 3 days since a family visiting from Canada has been stuck here in Houston after thieves stole their passports and nearly everything else that they were traveling with. Now they're hoping someone could come forward with information that could help them get those very important travel documents back so they can get back home. I spoke with Ming-Chu Shi yesterday, who says that her family's rental car was broken into on Christmas Eve while they were eating at Zolong Dumpling. When they returned to the car, they discovered their luggage, electronics, credit cards, and all 4 passports were gone. The family says they filed a police report, but so far nothing has been recovered. Because of the holiday weekend, Canadian embassies are closed until Monday, leaving them unable to apply for emergency travel documents.
I wish they can just throw our passport, or at least like, you don't need passport, at least give me the passport back or something. You can take all the other things, but the passport is very, very important to us.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that family's in a very tough situation right now, so please help if you can. Until then, the family is waiting and hoping to get those documents in time for their flight home on January 2nd. All right, if you're ever in a situation like this abroad, the State Department says the first thing you need to do is do what this family did and file a police report. Then they say you need to report the documents stolen to the State Department to help avoid against identity theft. And lastly, head to the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate to apply for an emergency passport so you can return to the U.S. Now to one of the busiest travel stretches of the year as people head to and from Houston for the holidays. AAA says that traffic is expected to pick up heading into the week with New Year's Eve just 4 days away. And if you're driving I-10 between Sealy and Houston, TxDOT says congestion is expected through 7 tonight and again tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on I-45 between Huntsville and Houston, delays are expected most of today through 10 tonight. And tomorrow won't be much better with heavy traffic from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. The bottom line is, if you can, leave early or be prepared for delays. All right, now, if you're flying out or waiting on family to fly in, tomorrow is expected to be one of the busiest days at both Bush and Hobby airports, with delays already starting to stack up tonight. According to FlightAware's misery map, there's a total of 41 delays and 2 flights canceled across both Houston airports, I should say. Nationally, airports in New York, Washington, D.C. and Miami are among the hardest hit, with weather playing a big role up north. Winter storms across the Great Lakes region, wow, look at this, are triggering ripple effects across the country. FlightAware reports more than 4,000 flights delayed nationwide this morning, with nearly 800 canceled. CNN's Randy Kay is at LaGuardia Airport with the latest.
So many passengers arriving here at LaGuardia Airport wondering if their flight is going to be delayed like mine. Mine was just delayed another 2 hours, which is kind of surprising since the snow has ended. If you take a look here, the snow at LaGuardia has stopped and the storm certainly wasn't as bad as it was supposed to be, yet we're seeing all kinds of delays. If you check out the flight board here, which I've been checking quite a bit this morning, if you take a look, there's a lot of red on that board, certainly about 3,000 delays already and nearly 1,000 cancellations. That's on top of the thousands of delays and cancellations from yesterday. And tomorrow is supposed to be one of the busiest travel days of the year. So let's just hope that this board doesn't get any more red than it already is.
Wow, that's a lot there. Pat, you have family up in that area going through this, right?
Okay, so I was actually supposed to fly back here to Houston this morning. Being the meteorologist, I was looking at the forecast and I said, I dealt with this 2 weeks ago. I don't want to go through this again.
Smart man.
Moved my flight to last night or to yesterday afternoon. Good thing I did so, because my flight for this morning canceled.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a mess up there. I mean, they got a couple inches of snow, but look, even though it's New York and they're used to the weather like that, it wreaks havoc on the air travel system, right? It's such a busy block of airspace that flights are constantly canceled coming in, and then you have to restack the crews and everything.
And that's not fun for anybody.
No, it's not. We got more issues on the way, I think, as we get into tomorrow for the Great Lakes. This evening, though, no delays across Texas, so we're looking good across the rest of the nation. Actually, pretty quiet at the moment. We just showed you, though, a couple delays and cancellations out of our airports here, so just check ahead, of course. 30-minute delays for Orlando, that's about it. Tomorrow, if you're traveling, the East Coast looks okay. Some rain up towards Cleveland. By the way, 60 degrees in Cleveland, end of December. Yeah, definitely going to have some stormy weather up there. Nice the farther south you go. And then here's our trouble spot for tomorrow. Snow for Minneapolis, heavy rain Chicago. That rain will eventually turn to snow as some colder air comes in. We're quiet here in the south, and the west coast looks good for travel tomorrow as well. But the travel trouble spot for tomorrow, the Great Lakes. Stormy weather through Chicago, maybe even a couple of strong to severe storms. And then again, heavy snow up towards the Twin Cities. For Monday, the travel trouble spot in the nation will actually be West Texas getting into southern portions of New Mexico with some snow. That snow will cause some issues there on I-20 through getting through places like Midland, Odessa, into Fort Stockton, and then getting out towards El Paso. You could see some problems out there as well, so more of a driving issue. And then there could be some travel trouble up towards the Great Lakes on Tuesday with some lake effect snow. Beautiful shot here from the top of our studios looking out towards the west. Sun went down about 30-40 minutes ago, 77 degrees right now. Still feels like 79, so the humidity is a factor. We tied a record high temperature today, to no one's surprise. 83, the old record was set in 2016. We tied it today with a high temperature of 83. We will likely tie or break a record high again for tomorrow. Overnight, we stay warm, partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, couple low 70s out there, but dry weather. Nothing on radar right now. In fact, across the whole state, we're looking pretty quiet, with the exception of a few showers to the Panhandle. There's our storm system for tomorrow. This front doesn't get here until tomorrow night, but it is going to come in with quite a punch. You're going to notice it. It's going to be a fast, rapid change in temperature, and the winds will pick up as well. Tonight we're quiet though, partly cloudy, we stay warm. Getting into tomorrow, it's partly cloudy. We see rain for the overnight, so there's a 40% chance for rain tomorrow. But it's not during the day, it's for the overnight, okay? So during the daylight hours, we're dry tomorrow. Front goes through, and it is gusty, colder, and cloudy for Monday. High temperatures may not even get out of the 40s. Here's future track tomorrow morning. We stop the clock, temperatures around 70. Partly cloudy skies for the day, maybe a stray shower chance, but really I think the daylight hours tomorrow are dry. 82 would tie the record high temperature for tomorrow. And then here comes the front after dark. So 10 p.m. it's a line of gusty showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. I really don't see us getting any type of strong or severe weather with this. Behind that, it is much, much colder. Temperatures drop like a rock. Will drop about 15 or 20 degrees in a matter of a few minutes. It's cloudy, the rain wraps up fast, and then it is breezy and cooler getting into your Monday with highs in the 40s. 83 today at 3:30 this afternoon. That ties the record going back again to 2016. We should be in the 60s and the 40s. Our morning temperature was warmer than what our afternoon should be this time of year. That changes with this front. 70s and 80s right now across the state. This is the cold that we're going to tap into. 14 for Billings, 37 Boise, 39 for Salt Lake. All of this warm air ahead of it will be gone once that front comes through, and it's all part of some Arctic air up in the Canadian front range, and that's all going to kind of spill south across the U.S. as we get into the start of the upcoming week. So watch the numbers here for tomorrow. This is such a fun map to show. 3 p.m. tomorrow, we're at record warmth here in southeast Texas. Watch that sharp line race across the state. That's 10 p.m. 46 in Dallas, 72 Houston, 58 in Huntsville. It's a very sharp line, which means it's going to be a very fast temperature drop if you're outside. It's going to cut you off guard if you're not ready for it. And then by Monday afternoon, only 46 degrees, and it'll be the wind of change coming in. Look at these gusts with the leading edge of that front. 35, 40 mile per hour winds for Huntsville, College Station, 9 o'clock tomorrow. That blasts through the area. We're going to see 30, 35, 40 mile per hour gusts across the city down to the coast. That's going to be overnight into Monday. And then for Monday itself, the winds will stay gusty, upwards of 25, 30, and 35 miles per hour. Getting all the way to New Year's Eve, though. As we look ahead to your midnight forecast, if you're ringing in the new year, the overnight conditions look fine. The winds will be a lot lighter. Temperatures around 50, partly cloudy skies. We look dry. Overall, a perfect forecast, in my opinion, to ring in the new year. For tomorrow, near record warmth, though. Sun and clouds, 85 Sugar Land, 82 for Houston, 75 Galveston, 83 for Conroe, and 82 in Huntsville. There's the 7-day forecast. We'll go from 82 to 49, like I saw a state trooper. Sunday to Monday. Overnight showers and storms Sunday night. Maybe a stray shower chance Monday, otherwise clouds stick around. Sunny though for Tuesday, and the last day of 2025 looks great. 60 degrees, lots of sunshine. Cold temperatures though, Trayson. 39 Tuesday morning, 35 Wednesday morning. But again, for New Year's Day, a couple clouds, 67 your high temperature. And then we'll end up in the 70s as we get you into Friday and Saturday.
82 to 49, like I saw a state trooper.
That's
I'm going
right.
to steal that one from you. That's a great one. Thanks so much, Pat. All right, now to a developing story in Ukraine. As firefighters continue working to rescue people affected by overnight Russian bombings in Kyiv. Now, Ukrainian leaders say at least one person is dead and 27 others are hurt. The attacks began in the early morning hours and continued after sunrise, with ballistic missiles and drones striking at least 10 residential buildings. Officials say nearly 3,000 homes and apartment units are now without heat or electricity as freezing winter temperatures grip the region. The attack comes just one day before Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is scheduled to meet with President Trump to discuss ways to end the war in Ukraine. Zelensky says the talks will focus on security guarantees and territorial issues in parts of eastern Ukraine. And back here in the U.S., the FBI is making headlines of their own. Director Kash Patel announced the J. Edgar Hoover building will be shutting down. The agency will move their headquarters to the Reagan building in D.C. Last month, the state of Maryland filed a lawsuit claiming the Trump administration hijacked the planned move to a new facility there. But Patel claims that move would have cost $5 billion to taxpayers and would have forced the agency to wait until 2035 to move. All right, across Texas, big changes are coming fast. In just a few days, more than 30 new laws take effect. Here's a look at the ones that are making the biggest headlines. Starting next year, local governments will have to be more open about how they calculate your property taxes. Senate Bill 1023 requires tax forms to include direct links to the documents used to verify each number. There's also a new rule aimed at protecting taxpayers when it comes to public schools. Senate Bill 1502 prevents school districts from raising taxes above what voters approved without a new election. And if you run a business, here's a big money saver. House Bill 9 gives businesses a huge jump in the tax exemption for inventory, going from the current $2,500 exemption to $125,000. Yeah, that's a big jump there. There will be help for those who get laid off as well. House Bill 3699 makes adjustments to the unemployment claims process. It streamlines the processing for initial claims to make faster determinations for laid off workers. And in the new year, there will be new rights for property owners. Senate Bill 38, also known as the Squatters Bill, requires courts to speed up eviction trials and appeals by scheduling them within 10 to 21 days of an eviction petition. Meanwhile, a new state law focused on apps won't take effect as planned. A judge has ruled that part of the App Store Accountability Act on hold, citing First Amendment concerns. Now, the law would have required app stores to verify users' ages and get parental consent before minors could download or buy apps. Supporters say the goal was to give parents more control, but a judge ruled the law was too broad. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is now appealing the decision. All right, it is a holiday tradition. Shoppers returning to stores after Christmas to return gifts that, let's just say, weren't quite what they wanted. So for those shipping their gifts back, though, Dave Malkoff reports that they could be in for a big surprise, a return fee.
And now you're telling me that you're going to charge me $11.99 or whatever it is to return items? Are you out of your mind?
Hassle-free online returns may be a thing of the past. Most major retailers are now charging customers to return items even if they're unopened and in perfect condition.
Who wants to lose money, especially not in this time and in this economy?
$850 billion. That's how much Americans will return to the stores this year. Nearly 20% of the stuff we buy online just ends up in the return pile.
Return fee?
Macy's now charges $9.99 for mail-in returns. TJ Maxx and Marshalls charge $11.99. Other stores, including KHOU, Abercrombie & Fitch, H&M, and Zara, all now charge fees between $4 and $8. It can now cost as much as $45 to return certain electronics at Best Buy. Amazon, too, has tightened its policy, charging some customers unless they use its box-free in-person drop-off option.
Merchants now are under a tremendous amount of cost pressure. They're really trying to offset some of the costs that they face in returns by asking shoppers to share some of the burden.
David Sobey co-founded his company, Happy Returns, that uses these AI robots to help make returns easier.
Is there any way to avoid these fees?
Well, the best way to avoid them is just to read the retailer's return policy before you check out in the first place.
Okay, there is some good news here. If you physically get in your car and come down here to the mall, most in-store returns are still free. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Atlanta.
All right, Dave, thanks so much for that. A lot of people not happy about that news, though. But, Pat, what can we expect over the next 7 days? Big change coming?
Yeah, a little bit of a roller coaster. What else is new? Record warmth again for tomorrow, and then a lot colder Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday's a really nice day. We'll start in the 30s. We'll end up at 60 with tons of sunshine. That's Pat's pick of the week. And then for Thursday, New Year's Day, first day of 2026, a couple more clouds around. Should be mainly dry, 67, then back to the 70s for Friday and next weekend.
All right, looking forward to New Year's Eve then. Thanks so much, Pat. And thank you so much for joining us on KHOU 11 Plus at 6. We'll have more coming up on TV at 10 tonight. Coming up later today, I should say, tonight on KHOU 11 Plus, our sports team breaks down the Texans matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers, which is actually on right now. We'll have post-game reaction and what head coach D'Amico Ryans had to say after the game. Catch it all on KHOU 11 Plus streaming app. Just download it on your TV and, yep, you guessed it, watch for free.